people, welcome back to another edition of the Jagged Edge. Ian here, along with Chris.
We're back, baby.
That's what I'm talking about. See,
That's right.
In the way you're saying that, no one would even think you're just destroyed today.
We're back, and this time it's personal. No show last week, which shocked me. So you're texting, you're like, "Yeah, can I get what did I say? Can I get an extra hour to give prep for the show?" And you're like, "You can take all day."
Yeah, I did. Like, go ahead.
I knew you were at PAX, but I thought we were still doing a show. I don't know why. I don't know if that was clear. I was surprised that shocked you. I know when we spoke and you were asking me, "Hey, how long are you going to be gone?" I said it's going to be through the whole weekend, through Wednesday through Sunday. But I know there's misnomers, things that slip through. No problem. You don't have to. You don't have to make it sound nice. I was dumb. I didn't realize.
I know. I can't outright call that a dumb. It's like more like.
They outright call it a dumb.
It's a dumb. It's more like a slip.
I did.
There you go.
So no show last week, and there will be no show next week because I've got things going on. So we're gonna try to cram in a bunch of stuff, which I know some things fell through the cracks. But hey, I didn't notice it on your list. So talk about this real quick.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name. I saw a couple things on it over the last week. There was that one gamer who had all the titles for like Donkey Kong and everything. Do you remember his name? Have you seen this?
And
no. He's been stripped of all of his titles.
Oh, was this like as in world records?
Yeah.
No. Oh, how come?
I guess the main reason someone's been bitching about this for a couple months now. I heard about this possibly being a thing a couple months ago, but the main reason is that the game system or the how he played that specific game of Donkey Kong was allowing him to make points that was not possible in the actual arcade version.
I think I got it here, by the way. Billy Mitchell?
I think that's it.
Yep. The King of Kong.
He looks like the King of Kong looks like a 90s movies villain.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he's done.
Wow.
That matters to some people. I mean, that's I always think those things are neat. I mean, those games are they've been around for decades, and I used to play them when I was little, and that was back when you could look at the top 10 at an arcade, and see people's names, and half of them are ass, but that's all right. But wow, to be that guy,
man.
And so he's done cheating.
This is
too.
That's a huge derp. That's a fall in the pit Mario derp. This really puts you in the age of emulators and how big this is, especially in speedrunning and things like that. Games Done Quick each year. They do for great causes. I'm guilty of watching the Super Metroid speedrun every year. I love that game to bits. But emulators are a thing often, or what they call TAS, tool-assisted runs. And streamers always note, hey, this is a tool-assisted, this is a non-tool-assisted. They're very, very specific to do that because, if you post a run saying, like, this is a non-TAS, and then you actually do that's a big no-no.
Right, and I understand why that matters. I mean, that's important, especially if you're trying to go for world records and stuff for something as classic as Donkey Kong. Playing that on a system that is regulation arcade, that's important.
Right.
And those things do matter. I mean, a couple changes in frame rates can make a big difference.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, you dumbass. There it is.
Roar?
No, this guy.
Oh.
Well, Roar too, though. That's all I got. You dumbass. Yeah, I guess they called Guinness and everything, and they're like, "Hey, strip him.
That's crazy.
His titles." You'll probably have to end up paying back like some award money and stuff. I bet too.
Wow.
Lawsuits abound on that. I bet you going forward.
Shiver me timbers. Frame data. Dum.
It's not like people who have Donkey Kong titles are fat cats and stuff. So, and you can just give back that sweet Donkey Kong money.
And a reminder, man, public eye equals more scrutiny. Yeah. So, hey, Keep it honest. Do your thing. If you're awesome, show us you're awesome. But be awesome in an awesome way without cheating awesome, because cheating's not awesome. I'm gonna get off that train.
Okay.
So
Let's get on the atomic train.
Okay. On the atomic blonde train, that is, Charlize Theron, she made a couple comments recently at a San Fran Film Festival that a sequel to Atomic Blonde is in the works.
Yeah.
You know, thinking about this is a good or bad thing. I would have been happy with the previous one as a standalone, although with the model that you have here for Atomic Blonde, especially the concept of a lone agent, that's a very James Bond-esque theme that I can see going forward. That's not something that necessarily has to end. So I get it. There's room for it, but
yeah, no, I agree. I'm pretty much of the same camp for this. If they would have never made another one again, that would have been fine. And had I'm sure as the years have gone by, flipping through the channels and I find Atomic Blonde on TV, I've been like, oh, I stop whatever the hell I'm doing. I'm going to watch that because it's awesome. Hey, they're going to try to, maybe build a franchise or at least going to do a sequel here.
Right.
Just do it right.
Yeah.
Just do it right. Don't go cheap on this thing. If you can't get the right production and cast together on this, then don't do it, because that was critical. The director for this was important. The cast was important. If the story's not right, then don't do it. Because if you go for a cash grab on this thing and it sucks, you're not getting a third, and you're gonna ruin the second or the first one.
Well, I mean, Charlize Theron alone already makes me it's a very good reason to go see.
Oh, you're in.
So yeah.
I'm into. I'm all right. I'm into. That's fine.
Oh man.
But that's like your favorite actress, right?
One of my favorites. Yeah.
One of your favorites.
Sure. I guess now that pretty. I just laid the ground for my whole list now. At least like my top 3.
Oh, okay. I don't have a list, but all right.
I'd say number 1 right now, if we're talking female actresses, Sigourney Weaver. Number 2, Charlize Theron. Number 3, little less known, but she's still done like indie horror flicks and stuff like that, and just an overall cool person. Sandra Ramirez.
I gotta look that one up.
Yep.
Sigourney Weaver, really?
Yeah, I think Sigourney Weaver's awesome.
Oh, she is awesome.
Yeah, and for me, it's always been a little more than just acting chops. All 3 I mentioned have been involved in some pretty great stuff.
What was the name of that third one again?
Sandra Ramirez, also Sandra Eloani Ramirez. She's been in like some small like horror flicks and stuff like that, but she's just a cool person. Does a lot of cool charity work.
All right, well, go ahead and talk about the other 2 for a minute while I look this up.
I'm about to say you're going to get me started in this, man. I've talked enough about it already. I didn't even want this to be a side subset. Shoot, look that up after the show, man. Seriously, it's just one name. It's just one name. Look that up after the show. Oh wow, now you're going for this, aren't you?
I'm almost there. Shut up.
Okay, fine.
Now I'll let it go.
All right, I was about to say, yeah.
Andrew Ramirez, surprise, surprise, a bunch of them showed up on Google, so I'm not.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was going to comment on. It's sort of a generic-ish title, so you're going to struggle with that one a bit. No worries, man. No worries. Quick fact, leaving the topic. Charlize Theron, I think she was dating Sean Penn, and that's no longer a thing. So.
Oh my gosh! Look at you dishing.
Just saying. Sean Penn. What was that last thing he was? I was about to say. That was Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. I was about to say Lethal Weapon. There's some sort of action flick he was in. I'll look that up after the show. We both got homework.
There you go.
Anyway.
You just want to stop recording? I can look up Sandra Ramirez. You can look up Sean Penn.
No.
Take a minute.
No.
Or just make him sit through it.
Yeah. Make everyone else up. No. I'm more interested in talking about a certain Black Panther right now.
Yeah.
This Black Panther that beat out the Titanic as
I love.
That's the 3rd highest grossing movie ever to hit the box office. Wow. Bravo.
I especially love the fact that it beat the Titanic.
Right?
I remember when the Titanic came out. I only saw it in the theaters once. I could only get dragged to it once. But I had to get dragged to it with all my girlfriends. And like, I got to back. And I was like, oh my God. No, I was actually, seriously, I was fine with the movie up until the end when the chick won't even let Leonardo DiCaprio on the door.
Nope.
He's like, I die for you. You're gonna. What? Why don't you let him up there? I think they say like it'll sink or it'll topple over or something, but that's dumb. That's dumb. Yeah.
I got a confession. I never saw the original Titanic as a whole. I've seen snips and pieces of it over the years, but I've never sat down and watched it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's James Cameron, so you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to at least have an enjoyable experience.
Oh, we'll see. There you go.
But I still like the fact that it beat it out. Number 3, I knew Black Panther was going to do well.
Right.
I mean, it's an MCU movie. It's got a great cast.
Right.
I would say people have been dying for a AAA movie with a majority dominant black cast.
Right.
And heroes. I did not think it was going to do this well.
Right. If anything, I think it really shows the amount of passion you had out there for fans who were really looking for that the kind of variety in the Marvel films we got. I mean, we're so accustomed to straight out right off the books, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, screenplay, all those that we know, delving into a character like Black Panther and getting a chance to not just explore but sort of redefine some of those original things that set him apart in the comic. Even some of the things that I think were just glazed over way too lightly or that were just stereotypical, they've evolved them in just such a cool way here. And even the way they casted, the main villain, Killmonger, I thought that was great. He had a couple of different appearances in the original comic, and it's some weird and wacky stuff. Like, dude died, like came back to life, was involved in mysticism and all this stuff. But here you see his reasons for why he's disillusioned and why he goes to create the kind of havoc that he does when given the means to do it.
It's a great story.
It is. It's a really good story, and I thought that hit home real well. Someone you can get behind. So, go.
Do you think it'll go any further? I think the next 2 are Star Wars movies.
Right. Honestly,
I think it's gonna stop at 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's. I sort of cast it in my mind. I said at the rate this is going, this could likely hit like a top 5. I expected maybe like a 4 or 5, but like 3 just when you put this up here, that blew me away.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to get. I honestly didn't think it was going to get into 3. I thought it was going to get stopped by Titanic, but now it's in there. It's like, all right, well, you've had a good run.
Yeah,
but I think this is it until Black Panther 2.
Yeah,
where he will then
go to number 1.
Yeah, that'll put it at number 1.
Sweet. For Star Wars, you got a lot of high stakes here, a lot of chips on the table.
Yeah, Solo.
No trailer.
The official trailer. I didn't like this so much. I'm trying really hard, okay, because I want to be a Star Wars fan. I want to like Star Wars. I really do. I want to see this with an open mind. The teaser, I thought the teaser was fine. I enjoyed the aesthetics of these trailers. I enjoyed the aesthetics that they're basically going for these so far these anthology movies.
Right.
Very gritty, very dirty, very old school Star Wars. I don't know. I'm trying. The actor is. I'm just not feeling it. The actor for Solo. I'm just not. I'm trying. Everything else I am, but it's just. But hey, your lead. No.
And I think that's just because he's so much more featured here.
I think that's exactly why. Because, they went all out with it. They weren't hiding them like they were in the other ones.
And I remember everybody poked at that line right at the beginning, the original teaser. I'm going to be a pilot.
Yeah.
It sort of went from there. But yeah, there's no turning back at this point. You can't. You can't
No.
can't put a mask on it.
You
They got to
can't
run with
remake
it.
most of the movie again.
No, you can't.
You've already done it once.
Oh boy. At this rate, even though you're not feeling the lead, do you think the supporting story and the aesthetic can carry it? Is it enough?
I don't know, man. We've talked about this in the past with The Last Jedi. Star Wars is not bulletproof anymore.
No, which is crazy to say.
And it's still under the same control, which, I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Everything else looks fun and cool and interesting. But I don't know, man. We're gonna have to wait and see. We're gonna have to see in about a month and a half.
Right.
That's really all I got. Because I don't want to dissect it too much, because then I might find more things that I don't like.
Right.
And I'm really trying to stay even keel right now, which in of itself is a challenge, considering the shit show we got with The Last Jedi.
I was about to say I'm still hearing some hints there. It's not just salt. I think you're still on a hair trigger away from going off in this again.
I'm trying not to. To.
Oh man!
Dude, they killed Luke Skywalker just from using Jedi powers. From making a projected image of himself. I don't know why he did it. I mean, all he had to do was take a StarCraft and just shoot at light speed right into the fucking planet. Oh.
That's the ultimate weapon now.
It is. It's the only weapon. We've weaponized light speed, so why do anything else?
You know what? We should have taken the hint from episode 4. Do I have that right?
A New Hope?
No. Well, I did. I had that totally wrong. Episode 7.
Okay.
We should have taken the hint when Han used lightspeed travel to do a lightspeed landing.
Oh yeah, to go past the force field, I think it was.
Yep. That was we were just short of making it a weapon then.
Well, no, they were doing the opposite because they were saying how dangerous it was, and he nearly crashed.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know.
But now that's like you said, that's just awesome. I hope they feature that in Star Wars Battlefront at some point.
Yeah. The first one that can get their ship coordinated for light speed into the other team is wins. They're all just 5-second zergs. It's like playing spacecraft.
Yeah. Oh man. Other than that, Incredibles trailer 2 released.
Yeah.
I'm still hyped for this movie.
I love this. I think I will join you for this now. Right now, you're slated to be the only one doing the review. I think I'm going to change that. I think I'm going to watch this and we'll do a review together.
I don't think this is going to disappoint. I think it's going to be a fun thing to hop on board. What I'm liking here about the theme is there's this sort of turnabout play. In the original Incredibles, Mr. Incredible, he sort of gets this big ego boost, and this company playing to his own machismo about his greatness, letting him sort of be this secret agent superhero, and he kind of lords this over his wife, even though she's very capable, herself. And now, after all those events transpired, and they've sort of come to this point, with their family and everything, they've all accepted their abilities. And now you have this turnabout where she's really taking the lead role in this. He's sort of the washed out figure in this. I like that, and I know that's just going to be the springboard starting point for that and all that's going on. But it's going to be a fun movie. I really enjoyed the first one; it was a blast. And this actually looks even better. So
yeah, I'm going to have to watch the first one. I've seen parts of it. I know a long time ago I saw like the second half of it, but it's been forever. So yeah, no, it looks like a lot of fun, and yeah. I'm watching the trailer. I'm like, gosh, Disney just knows. They know all the triggers.
They do. They know what buttons to push. I got fond memories of this too, because this was the first movie that I used to do a miniature ADR sound session for a class I taught.
Mm-hmm.
It was a group of high school students, and we had a small clip where they got to get a feel of like voiceover work. I was just doing like some live mixing in like Pro Tools and stuff like that. And this was a film that was just so easy to work with. I mean, you could take any 10, 15-second clip and have a fun moment with that, and the whole thing was just really cool. So yeah, the first Incredibles was probably my favorite 3D out of Disney since the original Toy Story, and I hope this lets it retain the crown. Cool.
Yeah.
First Purge trailer also got released. I'm jumping right on.
This is the transition. No, just the Incredibles 2 to the first Purge.
I mean, subject matter wise, you couldn't get any further away.
And somehow there are crossing demographics for this. We're proof.
We are.
I'm proof anyways. I know you don't have much of an interest in this. I do though.
This the prequel of Purge. Yeah. I'll be honest. This is a little more interesting to me than the original films themselves. I don't know, man. I know maybe I'm being a little too judgmental. The originals kind of got me with the whole. I know it's not a slasher, but the whole slasher vibe.
Well, no, they are slasher. They're basically.
I was right. Okay.
Thriller movies. They are basically slashers with this is an interesting concept. This one's a little bit more specific because it's talking about how this began, whereas the other Purge movies basically put you in random scenarios that have to do with the Purge. This is telling you how this all started. The trailer looked interesting. Here's the thing, though. I mean, at the end of the day, I think something like this topic, and this is where because it's kind of volatile, where you're saying this country gets to the point where once a year for 12 hours, it's okay to do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
Crime, killing people, rape, murder, destruction, theft.
Right.
Whatever you want. You want to take a candy bar out of a supermarket and fuck you, it's my candy bar. That's what I would do.
Okay. If you want a candy bar that bad, what would you get? Would it be a Snickers?
It depends on the mood, but ultimately the go-to is Kit Kat.
Good old Kit Kat.
Yeah.
Kit
I'm not sharing them either. Not sharing. That's all mine.
Real quick, there's something that could be said for someone who specifically ran like a theft theme during the Purge.
Yeah.
So that could be a business monopoly. But moving on.
Well, and I think it's interesting because as you see in the trailer, the point of the Purge is to let people release, and they can do whatever they want. But ultimately, this is all about protecting yourself from others who want to kill people. I mean, that's what it becomes, right?
Right.
People can do whatever they want. You can do whatever you want, including murder, which is basically you go murder. It's so so it's a volatile topic, and but at the same time, it's like, hey, we're just having some fun. We're just having some fun here. This, however, looks like it's going to take itself a bit seriously, as far as delving into how this happens. But at the same time, you just got to go under the Purge and just be like, hey, we're just having some fun here. We're just watching some people purge.
And I think you hit the key. As I said, and as I watched this trailer, and I really stopped and thought, I said, if I kind of remove myself from this, is trying to connect the dots or make some
this is not trying to tell the future.
No. If you try to make some kind of social leap with this, you get stuck in a mess. If you just, I think, take it for where it is, I think you have something.
Right.
So,
well, that being said, there tends to be some social messages in these movies.
Right.
It's been a while since I've seen them, but there's some racial tension. I think it was the second one that played a bit on social classes.
Right.
They are making some statements, but they're not trying. Again, they're not trying to tell the future. They're not trying to say this is where our world's headed. At least not from anything I could tell.
Right.
They're just talking about people killing other people for 12 hours once a year when they can. They're not trying to say it's a good idea.
Just saying.
Just saying. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
When this gets closer on a release,
July 4th, by the way.
July 4th. All right. I might. is it just? I didn't look at the list. Is it just you?
It is just me. Are you kidding? I don't think I could sell any of you on it.
I don't know, man. Like I said, get at me a little closer to release. I might jump on this.
Okay, because when I last asked you about it, you're like, that's all you, Chris.
Yeah. Well, because I had seen the trailer, and I'd assume they're gonna like continue on that line. But I'm like, you know what? Here they're trying to build some more. All right, let's see what they have to say. Maybe. So we'll see. Buzz me.
All right.
On the new Joker movie, we got a little bit of news here. Joaquin Phoenix?
Joaquin.
Thank you.
Oh, is it? Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin?
Well, you get me questioning things.
That's my job. Joaquin Phoenix is in talks with the WB to play the role of Joker. The series of movies hasn't been branded yet. This is supposed to be set apart from the DCEU. Probably going to be a standalone film. Most of the sources you checked into for this one said this is going to take place in the 1980s, and it's going to have more of a crime mafia vibe than a comic book movie telling about the Joker's rise as a criminal mastermind. Other than that, Todd Phillips, the Hangover trilogy, is going to be directing the film with the co-writer Scott Silver. He did The Fighter and 8 Mile. Wow, 8 Mile. Man, that goes back.
Mm-hmm.
And Martin Scorsese is going to be producing. So,
I still don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix is a good actor. He's fine.
Mm-hmm.
They've been trying to get him in superhero movies for a long time. He turns them down because he doesn't want to be attached to multiple movies and stuff. So,
right.
like he was offered Doctor Strange.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think he was offered something else as well for the DC. I just don't know how I feel about this. I mean, especially since they went out of their way to say that this is going to have more of a mafia crime feel than even a comic book feel. I don't know. I just don't
yeah.
know. And it's not. It has nothing to do with Joaquin Phoenix. It's just that, why I don't know. How do you feel about it? I can't put it into words clearly. So
this is. It's a tough one because Joker is a ground in comics that's been visited a lot from a lot of different angles. I think the last more interesting one, you might know this better than me, was the one where Batman actually kills Joker.
It's Killing Joke, I think, at the end of the Killing Joke, which isn't canon. That's specifically not a canonical book.
Got me. Cool. That's the last visitation of Joker that I checked out, even though that's like not a canon or anything. So this is a character that's it's been constantly explored and one of the, if not the main Batman villain. As thinking about that, even this is one that's sort of hard to just willy-nilly cast into sort of a new environment, like we're talking here like 1980s, like mafia feel and stuff like that. To me, this sounds more like a sideline of one of the parallel Earths of Infinite Crisis, more than like an actual full-on production that you could take. I'm of the belief that Joker sort of exists in his space. I don't feel that relocating him to another point in time, like the past, or changing the setting a bit, it really goes that far to change his character a ton. I don't see what exact unique dynamic that'll move forward, because Joker's still going to be Joker. I mean,
I don't see the point.
Yeah.
Outside of the fact that Martin Scorsese wants to make a movie like this, I don't see the point.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't work this into the DCEU, which, by the way, needs a shot in the fucking arm.
Yes, they do.
So this does nothing to help. Considering this, it's going to be this whole new set of movies, like one shots and stuff that they're doing that aren't part of the DCEU. So, I don't know. I just don't see the point of this. It seems like just somebody wants to make a Joker movie, so they're like, "Hey, let's make a Joker movie. We got some names on that. Martin Scorsese. All right, that might bring in enough money to, by itself, just to make it profitable and whatever." I mean, at the same time, I think it could be really good.
Yeah.
I don't like how it's trying to specifically separate itself from its comic book roots.
Right.
And that antagonizes me a bit.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm not sure what to feel about it yet. These the Hangover movies, they were fine. They
Right.
were okay. They were nothing. The first one was really good. Obviously, that's a classic. But this doesn't really scream 1980s crime / mafia. Scott Silver, The Fighter, in 8 Mile, those are both really good. Did you see The Fighter?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are good movies.
Yeah.
That tells me more, but I don't know. I'm just not feeling this yet.
Yeah. Same. And I think you hit it on the head. I don't necessarily see the point right now. So, no, I'm right with you. We will see. Other than that, the Flash. Speaking of DC, the Flash movie might not be Flashpoint now. There's some reports that the Flash movie no longer has the Flashpoint title on it, which got announced at last year's SDCC. This was supposed to be the official working title, but guess not. The Game Night directors, John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein, are now officially attached. And it's also been said that they're interested in doing a movie from the focal point on Barry Allen. So, Flash.
We'll see, and we'll see who's directing it next week.
Could change. Actually, high chance.
I thought
change.
Flashpoint was stupid. It's way too soon.
It is.
It's so you don't have this world established yet. How do you do Flashpoint?
Because now, if I remember Flashpoint right, we're starting to talk about points in time, aren't we?
Well, we're talking about an alternate universe where like Aquaman and what are his people called?
The Alteans.
Yeah. Well, him and Wonder Woman, they're battling against each other in the Amazon.
Oh yeah.
And Superman's been held in captivity, and Batman is Bruce Wayne's dad. Bruce Wayne died at that point, and his dad becomes Batman, and his wife goes crazy from her son getting killed. She becomes the Joker.
Whoa!
It's really cool, but it's way too soon. You don't have this world established yet.
No.
So I mean, you wait 5 or 6 years down the line, once you've actually got an established world that people like, and then you turn it on its head. Otherwise, you're just there's just no point to this. And I guess a lot of this stems from the fact that Barry Allen actually goes back in time and changes something,
right?
Or I think that's how it all happens, or he just ends up in an alternate universe.
Because I was thinking of Flashpoint from the animated movie.
Well, it's a lot like that.
Yeah. Okay, thought so. Yeah. We know this is the part, like you said. Once you have an established canon, you go monkeying around with that. You get these these alternate slices, these alternate cuts of reality. The one that I'm immediately thinking of here, besides Infinite Crisis, that's another story, and I still have not found those comics to catch up on. Gosh dang it! One day. I look at that. And I think back to Batman v Superman. We had a very, very small slice from Bruce Wayne's mind, from his perspective, thinking of the what was that warped dream about the
from the Nightmare World.
Yeah, the stuff in the Nightmare World. And so actually, in movie, as far as in movie different worlds, we sort of see this hint, this sort of wink at maybe this direction they want to go at some point or explore. And this, man, if you really pursue Flashpoint, that's way too rough to change a direction at this point, even to get into
it came out recently. Zack Snyder said that recently that was Darkseid, like putting those dreams in Bruce Wayne's head.
Oh, what the heck? Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
oh,
those are things that that was a future that he wanted him to be scared of, which, to be quite honest, somewhat inventive. I mean, that's the only way you're going to take out Bruce Wayne is to psych him out.
Yep.
But yeah, so that wasn't the definitive future. That was a future that he wanted him to think was going to happen.
Right.
So.
Huh. Well,
not that matters, because that storyline's dead.
Well, let me pitch this to you. Darkseid in the DCEU. Think it'd be a good thing? Bad thing?
I don't know, man. Because right now, I don't know. They've only got a couple good things. I don't know. Let's get a track record going here.
Yeah. And when I think about it, we're not strangers to some of the powerful extra dimensional beings. We just had Steppenwolf, for one thing. I mean, while I don't quite consider him Darkseid tier, I mean, well, obviously, he was one of Darkseid's servants. If anything.
Oh, Steppenwolf, that was that gray mushy CGI thing, right?
The dude with the big horns.
Yeah, that was supposed to be really cool, but he was just over exaggerated and dull and boring. And although that fight with the Amazons was pretty awesome.
It was. That's pretty cool. So,
mother boxes.
I kept thinking of every time you said that. I kept thinking of the Steam box. You seen that?
No.
It's Steam's console they sell. It was a big deal a few PAXs ago. But might get into that later.
We're almost there.
I know. We're almost. I know.
To the PAX stuff. You got one more story to go.
Oh, good. That is EA Sports. It's in the game, or maybe not for EA. EA is making some major changes in their company after.
Can I do this one?
Yeah, hit it.
All right. There was all kinds of quotes and names to say about this when I was researching this, and so-and-so has moved to this department, and so-and-so's been moved to this department. As far as I could tell, they didn't bring in any new blood, but the EA's making like all these changes to some of their staff, to different department heads and such, to try to rectify some of the ridiculous blunders. Like, I'm not a big Mass Effect fan. But I know the game, that just kind of calls to it. The fact that I'm not, I knew Mass Effect was fucking huge.
Right.
I've known people that don't play video games that played Mass Effect.
Yep.
And, they killed Mass Effect. They did that. BioWare Montreal, Visceral closing, both those departments closing.
Man.
Not to mention that standalone, in all the stuff they were saying about single-player games, and that standalone Star Wars, that single-player Star Wars game that Visceral was making, which they're saying they're going to try to revive. They're not going to revive it.
That is not happening.
No. And then everything with Battlefront 2 and how they ate it big there. Yeah, so they've announced they've made all these changes, and they're like, we want to put the customer first, and we want to listen to you, and it's blah, blah, blah bullshit. It's all the same shit they said 5 years ago, when for 2 years in a row, they were called the worst company in the country.
Ouch.
And yes, that's not just in gaming. That's all the companies.
That's so bad.
And they did the same thing 5 years ago. Like, we'll take a step forward to bring you what you want, and we're going to listen to the customer, and blah, blah, blah. And so I didn't quote any of these names. I didn't quote any of the stuff they said, because it's the same shit they've said before. But it's worth noting that they at least did this.
Right.
And they did make positive steps with Battlefront 2.
Right.
What do you think, though? That's the thing. Do you because they did this 5 years ago.
Yeah. It's two things. One, when you think of retention, as far as Battlefront, it's sort of a too little, too late. These are really sensitive things that, unfortunately, in today's market, it's very, very hard to reverse the course of perception. When you have a certain track record of things, loot boxes here, even harder if you've made the same said promise before, and now here we are at the same door again years later. It's rough. Credibility, especially being a dev, can turn on a dime. And if you don't have, I think, a reliable history to stand on along with that, you're really putting yourself on sand, shifting sand.
I have feels about the fact that they killed BioWare.
Yeah, because BioWare was awesome.
Yeah.
This is triple A productions, man. I'm not even talking about just Mass Effect. I remember
Baldur's Gate.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
How proclaimed those were in PC. I mean, BioWare was a name that was easily up there, synonymous with when you hear Blizzard announcements. It was a name that you knew if they were behind. Oh man, holy crap! This is going to be pretty epic.
You knew there was heart behind that product.
You did. So it's crazy, and you would think that them going out would be on some other node or some other turn, but what a spectacular crash. Like, man.
I don't buy it, but honestly, we will be able to tell if they really learned anything with Anthem, I think.
We will.
That's the big one, and if they're going to show changes, it's going to be there.
Yeah. Good testing ground. Get your Iron Man suit.
It, though.
Can't blame you.
Yeah, I don't like most of EA's games, so I don't much care. Other than they keep killing things that I like.
There's a fellow I bumped into over last weekend. I had to get a picture. His cosplay was, he had an EA sign that he was holding that was taped over his head, kind of like a flag banner. He had devil horn shades, and he was carrying around a briefcase, talking about the latest DLC on said briefcase. And each day you'd see him, that briefcase went up another $100.
Where did you see him at, Ian?
Oh, I wonder. Could be a place, one of the biggest conventions. In fact, next to Comic-Con that we have in the U.S., that's no other than PAX East, Boston, Mass. I am just getting back from that. It's been about a week now. It was pretty awesome because they went ahead and extended that con into 4 days instead of the 3 days that it normally is. So things kicked off on Thursday and went Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And normally I like to get into town a day early.
So the biggest question, obviously, is what did you get me?
A lump of coal.
No. You're supposed to pick up all the awesome swag. What did you get me?
Well, I can't tell you because I'm going to send you something.
Okay.
That wouldn't be any fun. But I will say this. Swag was very, very hard to get a hold of this year. I'm not talking about the random, the free stuff handed out here and there you see around, something truly PAX related. People went crazy. They were lining up at 7 a.m. Just to get to the Merc line, to get some of the special pins and all that stuff. And man, even because I stopped by.
Really?
Yeah. The first night I went actually hunting for what's available. I stopped by the Merc booth. Now, and this took me aback because the other 3 I've attended, I've really never had an issue with Merc, and I don't know if it was because of more special edition stuff this year, but they sold out of the hoodie and a lot of their clothes really quick. Also, they were only selling a lot of things in limited quantities, like some of the cool PAX pens and stuff I was looking for. And I'd come up. I was on my way somewhere else at about 8 o'clock, and I was just asking, "Hey, what do you still have, or what are you guys selling?" And the fellows kind of first he kind of looked at me quizzically, "Are you kidding, man?" But I think he caught on that I hadn't been really keeping tabs on the merch situation. Then he explained it. He's like, "All right, well, we're selling a lot of this stuff in limited quantity each day, so." If you want a shot at grabbing it, there's people that line up early. You come do that, and it's okay, what else? But honestly, that was probably the most difficult part, timing that, because what I was not willing to do was to get up at 7, standing outside, the 40-mile-an-hour wind, waiting 2 hours for that to open just to maybe get a shot at it. No, you don't do that for merch when there's so much other stuff around.
Why was it so rare? Why would they do that? That doesn't make any sense. No, we're only going to make so much money at this convention. Just 5.
So
5 a day. That's it. We don't want to make too much money.
Don't rock the boat.
Yeah.
So it wasn't for everything on their list, but it was kind of a bummer. Most of the stuff that I was looking at sort of fell into that limited line. I'm like, crap. So,
that's silly. All right, that's a shame. All right, you better start telling me some good stuff because I'm not liking this PAX now.
That was the one thing. That was the one thing. You know what? And I'm glad I got that out of the way first, because overall, I can genuinely say that this was my favorite PAX that I've ever attended.
Ever.
Wow,
you've been to a lot of them. You go to 2 a year at least, don't you?
One a year. Now they hold multiple PAXs a year, and I normally go to PAX East. I went to PAX South for 2017.
Yeah, but you go to something at Vegas, don't you?
Every 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Bye.
My bad.
No, that's all good. But hey, it's no secret I'm a convention goer. You know, I mean, it's these. I started attending events around the time I was wrapping up undergrad, or when I was in undergrad, and I've just sort of rode that train since. And it's fun stuff. It's a good time. It's a good weekend, and it's especially made even better when you're going with people you want to give your time to. With my situation, a group of my friends I graduated with in Illinois, we all said, hey, it'd be cool, regardless of where we move, where we go, if we can pick something, somewhere where we meet up each year that we all still love. I mean, of course, that centers around gaming. That's something that always connected us, and something that sure hasn't changed today. PAX became that, and we started attending PAX East, and the rest is history. And hey, go ahead.
No, go.
Yeah, and I love being able to not just do that, you know, and have that time set aside, you know, getting away to Boston and all that stuff, but just seeing how it's grown, even in the last like 5 years or so. I mean, PAX Prime used to be the big bad out west, but PAX East by far now outranks that as far as just general convention size, and it's just, you know,
really,
yeah, it's growing every year. But they said this year this was number one. So,
but what, like, where does it compare with something? Because it's gaming centric. Where does it compare with like E3?
I think the other two that would still be a little larger than this would be E3 and like New York Comic Con. Those and part of it, Comic Con obviously because of the grounds it touches on and all the different industry specialists, and then E3 because, well, E3 there's no bigger place to announce things than that. But I would shoot as far as if you're looking for a place where that has like an expo hall and panels and stuff, it's way more interactive than E3. So I would rate this probably second to New York Comic Con.
Okay. So, what is the number one thing you saw that you liked the best?
Oh man, number one thing.
Number one.
Oh, that is a treacherous question. But I'd have to narrow it down. If there's any one thing that I love seeing, it was this had to be Soul Calibur 6.
Okay, now you sent me a picture of those swords. Did you get my sword?
Yeah, you got the big sword. I'll use the little sword.
All right. Well, I figured you wouldn't want the evil sword.
That thing's gonna eat my soul, man.
Yeah, I can handle that. I've had things trying to devour my soul my whole life. I can handle that.
That's deep.
Yeah. I can fight that off. That's fine. But so they. I'm assuming you could actually play the game, because I'd seen a couple, what do you call them? I'd seen some people playing the game at a couple things. So I'm assuming you get your hands on it?
Oh, yeah. This was definitely a highlight. We still got a lot of time before the release, but to actually sit down, check out a bit of the rosters, feel how this handles as a Soul Calibur game, and man, that was sweet. Now, I played as Keelik on my
That's
demo.
the staff guy, right?
Sure is.
Yeah.
And I think my opponent picked up Cassandra. It was really funny because we both had oh man, what was it? We had we were using Xbox controllers, and I had to. It was funny because he obviously hadn't played fighting games in forever, and he was asking me. He picked up on a certain like dash attack I was doing. He's like, oh, like, you know, what press is that? And like I told him the button, and he hit that button. And he's like, wait, it's not that. And then like I actually looked down, and I'm like, oh, it's not that. Like it just I laughed at myself because when I get into playing, there's a lot that you just do like by feel, and you're not paying as much attention to. It's this exact button. But anyway, no man, it was fun. Movement is still good and free. Not as fast paced as something like Tekken. But I know I always make my Tekken references. I love it.
Tekken.
Yeah, you're like Tekken, whatever. But it really feels like it's still built on from where we were with 5, as far as with the destructible armor and everything like that, with the stage placement, the spacing, and as far as the way you're able to maneuver the stage. I didn't really get into too many of the specials. I should have looked at that closely. But super smooth frame rate. It could have just been in the console I was on back in Soul Calibur 5, but I used to notice a bit of a frame rate crash.
I'm sure it was an Xbox One X.
Back then, that was...
No, what they were running it on at the PAX.
Yeah. But, and I know part of the reason is like for better hardware and stuff like that, but it's super fun. It reminded me of the same thing that brought me into Soul Calibur. I skipped the early games, Soul Edge and, SC2.
That's the best one, man. The first one?
Classic. That's what everyone says.
Yeah. It is because it just came out of nowhere and it was just this thing and it was awesome. I remember I got that and my friends and I were playing it and we're like, what the hell, dude? Where did this game come from? This is great. That guy, he's swinging a tree.
To go along with that, speaking of swinging trees, Siegfried got announced.
So Siegfried and not Nightmare, because they've announced Nightmare for a while now.
Right.
Okay.
Siegfried.
That's kind of a no-brainer, though. So that's not much of an announcement. But
right.
Did they announce that there?
No, not live.
Did you get any announcements, any exclusive stuff right there at PAX East?
Yes, I did. I will delve into those. They weren't for Soul Calibur though.
Sure.
They were for a few other games that we had, but I think Soul Calibur was the main thing happening over at Namco Bandai. I do want to look at some of the announcements. Now, some of those happened in panels. I stopped by a panel on Friday for SNK. By the way, it's 40 years of SNK. I had no idea it was their anniversary. You might remember SNK for games like Fatal Fury, King of Fighters, of course the crossovers, Capcom versus SNK, things like that. Lots of fighting games and some bullet hells, things like that. But they actually had their dev staff for the SNK series over from Japan visiting. They were all rocking Terry Bogard hats. That was pretty fun, the Fatal Fury stuff. But anyway, they had some announcements that they did right there at PAX for their new character in what was that? The SNK Dream Fighters or whatever. It's this sort of girly beat 'em up. It's the entire female cast from the SNK series and the I was about to say Fatal Fury KOF games, like Mai Shiranui, Yuri, Mature. I could go on and on, but they announced Shermie returning. There's this guy in the crowd that just went berserk.
Oh yeah, what did he do? Did he cry?
Everything short of that. I was like, yes! It's just wail.
That's awesome. One person, did anyone else do anything, or did they kind of cheer or clap?
It stood out because it wasn't awkward. Everyone hates this, and there's just one guy going crazy. It got cheers. There was definitely clapping for people. Cool. But overall of it was just this one guy, and I just couldn't help but smile. And then the devs commented on it too. They're like, if we can get one reaction like that, we've done our job. So it's all exclusives like that. And I was actually late for that panel. I was coming back from the Jam Space. They had a really cool place for music this year, where they had free play open at certain times. They had a drum kit, acoustic bass, keys, and a few other things open. And it was led by a touring group from MagFest that does music festivals for gaming stuff. So they had their band there, and you could sit in and do free play. And I got to sit down in the morning and do jam out on a drum kit and play Sonic Green Hill Zone with the band, which was awesome. So, but it came to SK panel late, got that announcement live. That was a lot of fun. Also for the Saturday on the FF14 panel, they mainly talked about upcoming stuff and Stormblood and some of the content and everything like that. They usually save a big announcement for PAX East. The last 3 or 4 years they've been doing that. They mostly talked about where a lot of the story elements are going, so that's kind of an announcement, but they didn't have anything near as big as they normally do. Those were some of the main ones from the panels. There were a lot of from both the Square booth and some of the other dev booths. They were demoing some of the things for the first time. They made a big deal out of the FF15 PC edition. Now that did have a lot of announcements attached to it. I felt like they kind of saved that a lot of that for PAX. They had a whole panel dedicated to it. I did not go to that, but it was all over the Square booth, featuring some of the new content there and the rest of the announcements they had. So, what I can say in general about announcements, what they did here, if you were there for something specific in your specific game or your specific dev, there's a 100% chance that there was an announcement for it. Is it possible to see all of those at once? No. You would have to go over the review for it, probably just hitting your favorite stuff or catching up on Reddit over what actually came out. So,
all right.
You always wish you could be more places than one, but you only have so many. And I think that's one thing that made this one stand out. I tried to get this one slotted so that I could hit what I wanted to without being rushed, without too much overlap, and I think I did that. And that made it a lot of fun. I had a chill group. Everybody had a great time. Killer Boston food. Now there's something I'm missing here. You said favorite thing that I saw, and the only reason I'm not saying this one because it's also favorite thing I heard. The video games orchestra of full choir and full band from Square were there that did a pretty unbelievable performance. Live themes of from FF15. Unbelievable. That has a pretty amazing score to it already. It's very grandiose, but that type of live rendition of it wasn't quite something I was expecting. That was amazing for Friday, and that got quickly followed up on Saturday with a performance from Power Glove, sort of like metal rock.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah. Power Glove was awesome, and that was followed up by Super Soul Brothers, who were equally as awesome. So the audio-wise, as far as bands, I'd say the concerts were a cut above this year for what I heard. I mean, and they usually always have something solid to give there, but this was just outside of that. I was really, really impressed. So,
all right,
yeah, man. Other than
PAX
that,
East.
Yeah, the cosplayers. I already commented on the EA fella that was walking around the halls with his prices going up each day. I saw a killer Ghostbusters group. I'll have to share some of these with you.
Yeah.
Overwatch was everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And that, needless to say, that's pretty obvious of how popular a game it is. But it felt like I couldn't go 2 feet without it. You'd either have a group in the main hall cosplaying, you had tournaments going on like the live Twitch streams, which was really cool. The last time I was at East, I got to sit in on like Street Fighter V or whatever fighting game tourneys they were playing live on Twitch, which is really cool. So you always leave these events feeling as though, man, there's something else I could have seen, there's something else I could have done. But if you just try to hit the panels that you want to go to, if you hit the people on the show floor, you do, you get around. I think it's just enough. So already can't wait for next year, and having the extra day rocked. They need to keep that format, and I hope they never drop it.
All right.
Yeah.
So what was the stupidest thing you saw?
Dumbest thing that I saw at PAX East. Man. You know, I always usually expect to see something like a really derpy Sonic or something like that, but I didn't get to. I saw a couple of pretty derpy Cloud Strife wigs. That was pretty derpy. But other than that,
yeah?
But other than that, not too much dumbness, dude. I mean, it's at an event that just bleeds awesome like that. Like it, I usually have to swim for something I don't like. Like I can place myself in a booth that I probably won't really dig or something like that, or like a series I'm not really into, and that'll be dumb. But I don't do that. So,
all right.
But I can't recommend PAX any higher. It's a killer event.
I hope to go to one someday.
Yeah, I hope you do. And I hope you don't have to wait 2 hours in a limited merch line. You might get something, maybe.
That's when you give money to like one of the people in line for the product,
Yeah.
and a little bit for them. Like, here, just get two. Just get 2 of those.
Yeah, so there was some mania over that. But part of that's some of that's fixed. They didn't offer everything. There are a few things they had up front that could come with your badges if you wanted that. So
Mm-hmm.
I did do that. I got some socks.
Yes. At the end of all of that, I got some socks.
Yeah.
Are they like Mario Brothers socks or something? Or
They're PAX socks.
so they don't even, so they have PAX on them.
Yeah.
So they don't even have like a game, like your favorite game character or a game character thing that you like or something. They say PAX.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm gonna have to make it an issue to go with you to this Vegas thing in PAX East so I can show you how to have fun. You're waking up in a hotel room with a tattoo and a hooker.
No.
That's exactly why you will.
No.
And I'm not even talking about Vegas.
Oh man. You know, I don't even think you have to. You might as well just throw the convention part of it out. Why don't you just go there and do that? I mean, that's like an accessory, ain't it? Like I had a group. My buddies got pretty. They got wasted going into Saturday, Friday night bar crawl. I don't think I saw them until like mid-afternoon. So.
Mm-hmm.
But all that stuff's like accessory, man. I'm like, shoot, if I want to just go do that, I'll just schedule a trip without a convention. That's like anytime stuff.
Well, that's how you have it listed too. That's your categories: Vegas stuff.
Yep.
PAX stuff.
Anytime stuff. Yeah.
You can do that anytime.
Yeah.
I can only watch Soul Calibur now.
Oh yeah, like to play it before it's even out and actually get a chance to actually sit down with most of the roster. Shoot, man.
Yeah. Well, how much of the roster was there? Because the video I saw of what was exhibition? That's right. It was an exhibition event. That was the term I was looking for before. It only had like 7 characters.
Oh, it was way more than that.
Really? Did you see Taki yet?
No, I did not.
What is up with that?
I know everybody is really salty about that right now. It's the weirdest thing. You would think of anyone to appear, it'd be her, but
where's my girl?
I'm gonna see if, in fact, I think there are a couple of shots of the characters like that were hovering around. I'll have to pick that up for you. I should have taken one of those. I mean, the line's like moving kind of quick, and you're rolling through doing your match and all that. But yeah, I'll get that to you.
Was there a big line? Like, was there a bunch of people behind you waiting to play?
Fortunately, it wasn't like wrapped around anything, but yeah, that line was sizable, man.
So what was the limit? Like, what, 1 game or 5 minutes, or how do they do that?
You did like, I think they had it set on like first to 3 wins. So they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There were like 8 stations or so open. So they got like 16 people in at a time, and you just did.
And they were all Xbox. Why did they go with Xbox?
You just played first to 3.
And then both were done, or the winner stayed, or what?
You're both done.
That's gay.
That's gay. Yeah.
That's a horrible term for me to use, but here's
the thing though, if you wanted more time with things, or to really do, winner stays and all that stuff, they did have, not the newest stuff, of course, but they did have console free play rooms, and I did not mention those. Those were awesome. There was a huge console free play area for. It kind of reminded me when we were setting, the old Armored Core tournaments.
Yeah. Hold on, let me interrupt you. Was Soul Calibur 6 in there though?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Then what the crap?
Yeah, you could get 5.
You want to go in there and you play Pokemon in the free play?
Pokey in the man and yeah.
No, I want to play Soul Calibur 6. It's bad enough it's on Xbox.
Yeah. Oh man,
that is ridiculous. No, man, that sucks. That they don't get it. You gotta go with fighting game rules. You gotta go with the old school arcade fighting game rules. The winner stays.
Yep, winner stays. Winner stays. The rest come play. That would have been cool.
Jeez. And back in the day on the PS1 for Mortal Kombat 3, that was at home, but I was on that console sometime for hours. just the friends just keep on rotating trying to beat me. Like, I can't help you suck. All the Cobals and Sub-Zeros in the world isn't helping you against Curtis Strikers.
Yeah, you can throw that free stuff all you want.
They'd get me occasionally, or I'd want to go out and have a cigarette.
Right.
So then I'd get in rotation, and then as soon as I got to me, I was there again. They hated it. They had to play other games. That's how we started playing Battle Arena Toshinden.
Hey, yeah. Another classic.
And there you go. And that's how we played that, and that's how we played Tekken. And then it was more even. In fact, I was nowhere near the best for Toshinden. But when it came to Mortal Kombat, don't play Mortal Kombat. Don't let Jucket know they're really playing this shit.
You know what? I never understood the salt. Because here's the thing. If it was a game I liked, and I ran into somebody that good.
Because, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you, because it's like lining up for the guillotine.
Well, I get it, but see, but that, okay, I understand it. I understand that aspect of it. But it's the learning opportunity you get. If I ran into somebody that good, man, I'm there. Bring on that guillotine. I'll just get good to the point where, I'll match or defeat you. Like, that's what you got to do.
I don't know. You're not wrong, but we're teenagers.
Yeah.
So.
No, I hear you, man. It was like that with when we did like rotations for like early Armored Core. People would rage quit. Really like back in AC2, we do like link play and stuff like that. I get it. So.
All right.
Good stuff.
Okay. Look, you got something here for Sega.
Yeah. Sega. So they've been keeping an eye on Nintendo. Nintendo's gotten in on it. Looks like Sega wants a slice of the pie of the retro miniature console releases. So they're going to go for that. Just within the last day or so, Sega has announced the SegaMegaDrive Mini. Now, this is probably going to get recoined to like the Sega Genesis Mini when it comes west. But here's what's funny. It's in development, but it's only slated for a Japanese release this year, right now. There's no sign of this or nothing official of it actually coming to North America or anything like that. But it's a thing. So
it's not a thing
for us.
Well, if it's not happening here, it's not happening
anywhere. Gosh darn it. No,
didn't they come out with something like this? No, that was third party. That's right. But somebody came out with a Sega thing last year, and that was actually pretty popular.
It was.
Why wouldn't they? Are they like testing it in Japan? Are they maybe gonna release? Do they say anything about the States?
They didn't comment on it. Everybody thinks that's an obvious lead-in to the release that we eventually get, but can't tell you.
I'm looking online right now, too. I don't see a list of games.
Nope. All we know is that this is coming out in 2018 in Japan right now.
All right.
So.
Well, it's hardly anything to get excited about. I don't have a list of games, nor do I even know if it's going to be available here.
As long as you give me at least Streets of Rage, all's forgiven. I got in on some Streets of Rage this past weekend playing Streets of Rage 3. Free-play area, man. Good times.
Yeah, but what if they put it on there, but then they don't release it in the U.S.? You gonna be pissed?
I'd be salty.
Yeah,
that would suck. It really would.
I don't understand this. I don't. All right.
Moving
next.
Yeah. Did you ever play Terraria?
No, I don't know what this is you're talking about. It seems a little familiar though.
Yeah, so Terraria is it's like a 2D sandbox style game. It's the style of it might remind you of something like Contra without like the forest screen, but you have sort of development elements, kind of like a Minecraft-ish idea. It's actually got a pretty big backing behind it. Since the original, there was another follow-up to this called Terraria Otherworld in development. This first got announced February 2015. There was a big graphics overhaul and a lot of hype behind it. And this is as of this weekend, this is done. It's dead. It's canceled. The development staff actually came out on their official forums. They linked to that point from their Twitter pages and a few other spots, basically saying that, hey, after all this time, this is not to the level where we could rush a release, or B, the type of quality that we wanted to place into things. We're still too far off from our goal with this. We don't believe this is something worth pursuing at this point. So they just leveled with everybody. This had a lot of hype coming out of the gate in 2015. I had some follow-up, steady stream updates going in 2016, and then everything stopped with updates. There was maybe an update during 2017. It's literally been an entire year since anything's been heard about this, and so it's toast. But the devs were pretty upfront. Everything, the current Terraria was going to continue to see updates and overhauls. They did not announce exactly what their next project is going to be yet with this, or the other spin-off games that could develop and everything like that. But it's just that feeling. I kind of put myself in folks' shoes. It's like, man, if I'm sitting here waiting for a sequel to something I love for years, and it just blows up, that sucks.
I was just watching some video on this. Yeah, I mean, that looks like fun.
Yeah, it does. It does. You get a lot of your own, custom character stuff you get to do with that, and I'm a sucker for 2D platformers anyway, so I bet I'd like it. Actually, if I really got into it. Yeah. But yeah, man. The reception to this, though, as far as how it was taken, there really, I did not see any rage threads about this.
Did one guy in the crowd scream way too excited?
Probably somewhere I can't hear. But yeah.
Yeah. Woo!
Oh man. No, the reception is pretty positive. Everyone's like, hey, that does suck to hear. Thank you for leveling with us. If anything, a lot of people were kind of suspicious of where this kind of it's actually stood. No beating around the bush about it, but it looks like they're pretty much retaining their base. I don't see a whole lot of anger about it. So, hey, do what you got to do.
There it is.
So, would you ever play something like this?
I would. Yes, I mean, short answer is yes, but that's because you put something in front of me with a controller, I'll try it out.
Right.
So yes. Now, I mean, would I become dedicated to something like that? Probably not. That doesn't quite look like my kind of thing. It's gotta really be something special to keep my attention. But would I play it? Yeah, I'd try it.
Cool. Well, I think it's time for an info minute. Here we are. This is a follow-up to your... Wait, what was it? It wasn't info minute. What was the name of your segment?
Oh, Chris's Quick Tidbit.
Quick Tidbit. This is a follow-up to that. If I remember right, in the Quick Tidbit, you had talked about the closure, bankruptcy of Toys R Us.
Yep. It's dead. It's dead, Jim.
Well, there's somebody who does not want it to be dead. He is making an 11th hour bid to buy out at least as much of Toys R Us as he can. This is based off of billionaire Isaac Larian. He's the CEO of MGA Entertainment, so hey, this is a toy magnet in and of itself. He's offered to buy the Toys R Us stores in the U.S. and Canada that are looking to close for close to $1 billion, $890 million. Is a figure he put out there. That's this was he actually just made this bid on Friday, just yesterday. This was $675 million for the stores in the U.S. and then the other $215 million for the 82 stores in Canada. Basically, saying the reason he's doing this is like, hey, look, this is not something I want for future generations of possible Toys R Us kids to be, miss out on, or my grandkids or whatever else, or hopefully keep some jobs and stuff. Now, it's funny to mention he did launch a GoFundMe for this first, a sort of a first litmus test of this, who'd be out there for pushing to save it. And you know what? The GoFundMe actually raised a little over $200,000. So we're way off. We're way off from what we need.
Here's a couple bucks for the Toys R Us.
Yeah, a couple bucks. Turn it into $200,000, but still, he's ideally he wants to pick up at least the majority of what's in Canada, the 200 stores in the U.S. I mean, we got about 800 closing here. But it's kind of odd what he wants to do with these. Now, once he does acquire it, he wouldn't just want to leave these as just a spot where you get toys.
Here we go.
Here we go. There's an angle. There's always got to be an angle. So he sort of painted the image. He, set everybody down in the big Santa Claus spot and said, quote, "We will make Toys R Us an experience in and of itself, a fun, engaging place where families can spend an entire day. Imagine a mini Disneyland in each neighborhood."
Oh boy.
Yeah. There you have it.
Oh, that's it?
So someone wants Toys R Us to stay afloat still. Thoughts?
Oh boy. I'm not going to sit here and say I know the inner workings of all of this, but this does not sound like a good idea. This sounds like Chuck E. Cheese, but with toys.
Chuck E. Cheese.
I can only imagine. I mean, I don't know about you. When's the last time you were in a Toys R Us?
Man, it was about. It was a coworker. It was her son having a birthday party, and I got him some Hot Wheels. That was like a couple of years ago.
Okay, so what was the state of quality of that building?
Mediocre.
Yeah, and most of them aren't they? They're mediocre. They're old. Well, you're gonna put like rides in these things?
I hope not.
I mean, the renovation and the cost on that, you're gonna be spending a lot more than $1 billion on this project.
Yeah.
How are you gonna? I don't. And again, I don't know all the inner workings on theme parks and stuff like that. I mean, they're fine, whatever. We got a great America here. It's fun, but this does not sound smart.
Yeah, I don't know how hard he wants to push the theme park angle into, bringing in like full on rides and stuff like that. But the best you have is the vision statement here. I think he at least wants to try and save the property up front, or the ones that he can, and get ownership of it. But
I think there's something here as far as the IP, and the assets.
It's an acquisition,
and I don't know, because a lot of these places. I mean, I don't know. Like, for example, the Toys R Us in my town, they lease that building,
right?
Okay, and it's old. It's really old. It's been everything over the years.
Right.
I mean, what are you going to do? How are you going to renovate this thing? You don't own the building, so you're going to have, you got to get permits and stuff, and you got to get approval, and then you're going to sink all this money into it.
Yeah.
And, I just don't see a smart businessman doing that with a brand that's already going under.
Right.
How are you going to do that? I don't know. Doesn't sound. I think there's more to it than what he's even saying.
Right.
It just doesn't sound like a smart idea.
So, but there you have it, man. I mean, Toys R Us is the pinnacle of all its struggles it's had over the years, and I think you raised a key point with the whole infrastructure part of it. You're not inheriting a pristine, recently built spot with all of these. Most of these, never had that extra work put in behind them. So.
And it's been a slow death.
Yeah.
This gets me onto a topic that I've been meaning to talk about. I know we're at the end here, but I want to talk about this.
Go for it.
Because this bugs me. This bugs the crap out of me. And this is the garbage that Amazon gets. A lot of people upset because Amazon's doing so well.
Right.
And a lot of people are losing their jobs over it. Because, and let me rephrase, because it bears rephrasing. Because a lot of people are losing their jobs because the old school brick and mortar way of doing things and those stores have been having such a hard time keeping up with Amazon.
Right.
And thus are losing their job. And the, places like Toys R Us, we're losing these stores. But a lot of people blame Amazon. What do you think about that? Do you think that's Amazon's fault?
No.
No, it's not Amazon's fault at all.
No, it's not. We've even seen frustrations from some of the highest levels of government about this. It's evolving business models are something you're going to see over time. The further as we get more sophisticated with their model and all that. I mean, look, Amazon offered an awesome service. They just happen to have leveraged that into so many areas now where there's some. Yeah, obviously we're getting some competitors are having trouble with that. You got.
You're right.
No, yeah, the mom and pop shops struggling with it, but Yeah, Amazon is like a bane to retailing.
Here's what bothers me about this, is that your Sears, your Kmart, your Walmart, your Toys R Us have been around decades, and in some cases decades and decades and decades in the case of Sears, which is kind of funny because Sears is ending up closing everything, getting beat by their own damn game. They were the Amazon back in the day. And I don't understand. You've been around so much longer. You had the physical places where people could go to. How did you get your ass kicked? I know that you have a lot more overhead as far as costs, as far as, again, leasing and employees and such. But how you had the number one advantage, which was that they can just go to, they can order through you, and they can just go and pick it up.
Simple.
How did this happen? I guess I don't understand. I mean, so you take the advantage of the fact that, because people generally, and not everyone, but I think the majority, would rather go and pick up their stuff than have to pay extra for shipping, or go to the location and get it and actually get some customer service. I happen to think that the majority would still like to do that. And I'm not saying that they, Amazon wouldn't exist, because they certainly wouldn't should. But I guess I don't understand how things got so freaking lopsided.
Right.
Why didn't Walmart seems to have figured it out in large part. Like, their stores, there's all kinds of things in there. They're offering really good deals as far as ordering online and having things either you pick it up at the store, or they're offering good free shipping for and Walmart seems to have in large part figured it out. But it's just, I don't understand it. I mean, why were these brick and mortar places so far behind? How did this happen? What do you think happened?
Yeah. I think you struck something key, especially by comparing Walmart, and this shows us exactly what happened. I think it's just a high resistance and an aversion to change.
Do you really think that was it? They just didn't want to test out the new model on how shopping could have and would have been, which it obviously became.
That is as much new model in terms of the distribution process. It's also the model in terms, I think, how you position and how you brand yourselves. Walmart is one that have sort of tried to keep themselves from being boxed in that corner of just the normal brick and mortar side. They took the stuff, like you said, for online and things like that. Yeah. I think the trouble about Toys R Us is in places like that is that they never seem to make drastic pushes to sort of update or engage more with what they were. It's just sort of, well, this is what we do. Why would we do anything else outside of this? This is how it's been done. This is how we made it private. That's it.
The only thing I've ever seen Toys R Us do is like have exclusive certain kinds of toys and stuff at their store.
And that's not enough. That's not enough not enough to bring people in an age where you have Amazon and places where you can just do mail orders for about anything you're looking for. You lose that draw. So if you lose the exclusiveness of the client contracts, so all right, we got a contract for Star Wars, and we have to sell X amount of figures, or we have these special ones. You got to get a couple of cuts above that, even if that comes down. Besides deals, what are the other things that would draw people to your store to physically come there? And those spots still exist now. I mean,
and brick and mortars aren't going not all of them.
Right.
They're not all going everywhere. Actually, most of them are probably going somewhere. But, like Walmart, for example, they're open 24 hours.
Yep.
And if you need something in the middle of the night, or that's when you like to shop, then that's an option. That's something that Amazon just can't do for you.
Right.
They can't get you that product immediately.
Right.
They've got the bakeries, and they've got the Subways. Most of them have Subways in them, if not something else.
Right.
You've got the you get your car worked on, you get your oil changed or whatever, tires or whatever. I mean, they've diversified.
Right.
And a lot of those diversifications are services that you can't get elsewhere. For me, and I know I'm a Monday morning quarterback in this shit, but I look back and I'm just like, why didn't someone else figure this shit out? Like, for example, I'm looking at a list last week. I'm looking at a list of all these clothing stores and shoe stores that are going to be closing too. I was like, how is that a thing?
Right.
I mean, I'll order some clothes online if I know the brand and the size are right. Otherwise, I'm going to the store and I'm trying this shit on.
Yeah.
How is that a thing? I don't understand that.
Yeah, it's something that's blindsiding a lot of retailers, and I think maybe some of it's the shock of adjusting to that, or actually trying to compete with that model of convenience, but make them appealing. To me, it's just like books. People talk about Kindles and ebooks. Look, those got their merits, but me at least, if I'm going to read a book, man, put that book in my hands.
Yeah.
Being able to like go to a bookstore and get that tactile feel of actually picking up a book and something I can flip through, I'm not going to do without that. So making a similar appeal for retailing, getting people in your store, what makes that engaging, or actually more fun to do than just ordering online, that stuff's key, and there should be perks for that. The one thing I love about brick and mortars is you get to physically be present in a space of something you're either really looking for or something you love.
Yeah.
That's cool in and of itself. And unlike online where you're sitting, flipping through pages, you've got it all right there. It's within sight range instead of click range. So,
and you know what I think one of the biggest killers was, some companies did this, not everyone did this, but in order to compete with their margins, they actually upped the prices on a lot of things in the stores, which was like the complete opposite of what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
What you needed to go the other way. Let me say one thing, because I actually answered my own question here on one of these things. So recently I bought a pair of boots.
Yeah.
Bought a new pair of boots. And I went to the shoe store, tried on the boots, looked around, looked at the prices, and they were way too high. They were about $20-$30 more than I was willing to pay. So while I'm sitting there in the shoe store right there, I'm get online and I look up the same boots and I find them online.
There you go.
They're 2/3 the price.
Right.
So could I be a dick and just order them online? Yeah, I could. And that's not really a dickish thing to do, but I've been sitting in their shoe store. I've been trying on their shoes, so I should at least attempt to buy these here, right? So yeah. I do. I go to one of the employees and I ask them, so do you guys do price matching?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, well, no, not really. I'm like, no, if it's this and this and this and this and this, then maybe we will. I'm like, really? So generally speaking, you won't price match? She's like, no. All right. So I left and I ordered them online. But I gave them an opportunity to give me the price.
Hey, I think that's only fair. And you hit on something key. The idea of, and I want to ask, because I didn't see the interaction. You were actually there. How much of a scripted response did you feel that was?
Oh, I got a very scripted response.
Okay. One thing that I like to see, you don't always see at brick and mortar spots or retailers, is an answer to your question, yes, but not just that canned response, some actual thought behind it.
Right.
Or some actual consideration for, or know-how, knowledge. Now, if you were dealing with someone that really knew their stuff, and might catch on to that subtle hint that, hey, I know our price listings, vary a little bit from what we have online to what we have here. You know what? Hold on, let me check that for you to see if there's, actually any difference.
At least ask me what I'm talking about.
Right, or ask, hey, what's actually sparking your question? Is that something I might be able to delve? Yeah, that small step to reach out and sort of, pull the customer up to that next step, that goes miles.
No, yeah, it was basically, I can't be fucked with this.
Yeah, so. That's so sad. Because
I wanted to buy them there.
Yeah. And, I'd argue that's part of the thing that retains, that helps business. I went out to, there's this shopping center I usually go to with family for the holidays out in Mississippi. And they have a Lucky Jeans Co. And the year before, I picked up a pair of jeans. Actually, it hits me perfect. They're really comfortable. I love them. And I said, I'd like to get maybe a similar color or something this year and actually go in, but I was looking for a slightly different style or like cut. And, it was cool going in there because I didn't get a canned response. And as far as, A, some of the stuff I compared online, and B, like the size chart compared to like the actual cuts of the jeans that they had, or like the color that I was actually looking for. But no, I mean they just got in the ground floor, asked, hey, well, what's driving you like to ask that basically? And, hey, I need to let me dig into that a bit, and see if we got. And you know what? I ended up buying there. A lot of it was because they did that footwork there on the spot and were able to convince me, as a buyer, that they were interested enough to do so, and that they nailed what I was looking for. So hey, cool, I'm down with that. Here's some cash.
Yeah, no, I agree. And if they would have like asked me what I was looking at online and what what the price was there, if they would have said, well, we can't match that, but we'll give it to you for $10 more than that,
right?
I probably would have done it.
Yeah,
because hey, I was in your store, I was looking at stuff, I'm talking to your employees, so yeah, I would have done it for like $10 more.
There you go.
I mean, there it is. Here we are solving problems, people. Put this out to everybody. This is why things are failing. We can save the brick and mortars. Yeah. We can save the world.
Just hold hands.
That's right. Hold hands and be nice to each other, and But I don't think child rides are going to save us.
No. Same here. So. But all right, that's going to do it for us. Hopefully this makes up for a little bit of the time we lost from last week. Of course, as we mentioned earlier, not going to have the show coming up for next week either. So we'll have to tide you over. Of course, we'll have our show reviews, TV show reviews in the meantime. But the next time you hear from us, I think there's going to be a little something we've seen already.
Yeah, yes, there is, Ian. The next time you hear from us, we will have seen Infinity War.
I was waiting for it. Oh man, no,
it's like a weird Star Trek episode.
Yeah, it does.
No one's gonna know what we're talking about.
No,
you have to wait 2 weeks, and I'll tell you what we're talking about in 2 weeks.
That's why I wanted to leave that like that. You had. There was a transition you did earlier that was sort of like that, and I love those really, really awkward pauses. So you're fine. But all right,
we're done.
All right, we digress. But thank you all for listening. Tune back in, and we'll be back at you soon.
Bye.
Hey people, thank you for tuning into this episode and taking a listen. If you like our content, if you like what you're listening to, there anything we go over, hey, please, we would not only love to hear more from you, but if great, if you could throw some support, you can subscribe right below. Also, you can toss us a line anytime. That's ksongmedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can tune in for our channel anytime for movie reviews, game reviews, a lot of random wacky stuff. Who knows what you'll hear. And of course, our episode each week where we're bringing the nerdiest things we can find, pick up, and maybe not find. Maybe the stuff that just drops in our laps. But anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope to hear from you again later. Take care.